Hello, everyone. Welcome to African Ancestry's Chats with our customers. I think there's an official name, but I don't remember what it is. Welcome anyway to whatever it's called. It's 15 minutes of fun talking to people who have taken our test and hearing their experiences from their own perspectives. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It's good to see you in here. All of you who are coming in. I hope you're doing well today. Yet another day as we close out March in this event that we're all experiencing. And I know it's not easy for anyone. So I thank you for taking some time out of your day. If you're like me, you have been consumed with work. Others of you have been consumed with the work of your children and making sure they're getting their work done. And others of you are consumed with taking care of other people. And we just appreciate all of you that are joining us here today. King of Kings, we want you to test with us too. What's it going to take? You can go on over to AfricanAncestry.com and we've got a test that will help trace you to your present day country in Africa and the ethnic group or tribe. So I encourage you to go over there after you listen to our guest today, who is Jacques Lesure. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but he's an African Ancestry family member in California, out in LA. And we met him when we had our LA meetup. So over the last couple of years, we've traveled across the country and have gone to major cities just to meet you guys and everybody who's taken the test in those cities. And so we met him there. We were at Hot and Cool Cafe in Leimert Park. If you all are not familiar with that, once we're able to get out again, I encourage you to visit Hot and Cool Cafe. King of Kings wants to know if it's possible to upload results from a different site. It is not possible to do that. We look at different parts of your DNA than the other companies because we're giving you a different perspective on your ancestry. And so you cannot, we can't use their results. Hey, Joseph Myers, thank you for joining us. All of you that are here, come on in, come on in. I hope that Ty is in here giving me some directions. I haven't quite seen. Jacques, if you're here, could you please request to, there you are. So I need you to request to join the video, to join the live so I can pull you in. I'm so excited. And I was checking out Jacques' Instagram page, and I want to hear about the concerts that you've been doing. So I'm anxious to talk to you. Again, I'm Gina Page, president and co-founder of AfricanAncestry.com. We are the pioneers of genetic ancestry testing for Black people around the world. We are in the business of being Black. Well, all right, Speller One's son, thank you. So we traced you to the Mbundu people, and then in Angola, and then the Yoruba and Hausa in Nigeria. All right, cousin. I love it. I love it. Who else is on here? Where are you? Okay, here's Jacques. Here's Jacques. All right, let me pull Jacques in. I want to find out where you guys are representing from. I know we have LA in the house. I've seen them. But where
There we go.
Oh, there you are.
There we go.
Hey.
Hey. Doing great. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. I can
Good.
hear you
All
just
right.
fine.
Good.
I can hear
Good.
you
All
just
right.
fine.
Good. Good. Good.
It's good to see your face.
You too. We see yours more than mine, though.
Well, now, but I see you're doing something on Instagram Live and Facebook Live. Tell me about that real quick.
Well, you know, I'm a jazz musician, a recording artist, and we've, slowed down since we've, all the coronavirus. No venues are open. All our tours are canceled. All of our local dates are canceled. So what we're doing is we're having live concerts from my living room. And we're having the same experience that they might get out somewhere else in the living room. And what we're doing is today, in particular, we're supporting the wait staff and the hostesses and the behind the scenes people that help us all the time and help us and are there for people who are laid off and they're not doing well, I'm sure. So we're just trying to make sure they have a little change. We're doing some donations to that at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, so is it your page?
Right. Right. So it'll be this page on Instagram, and it'll also be my Facebook page under my same name, Jacques Lesure, on the Facebook page as well. It's going to be live on both formats.
Okay, cool. So I want to encourage everyone who's on here following us to go on over to Jacques Lesure's page at 5 o'clock
Right.
Pacific,
At 8
which
o'clock
is 8 o'clock Eastern.
And 7 Central.
And 7 Central, so that we can support all of those people who help bring live music to us in better times. Like you said,
right.
The wait staff and
the hostesses, the back line, the bussers,
the bartenders.
Yeah, all of those people. Yeah.
And I think this is good because we get to have some wonderful music.
Yeah, it's going to be live in my living room.
Yeah,
Social distancing.
Yeah. And I want to encourage everyone to do that, to support the lives and to tip the people, the DJs, the musicians, because they're giving us these gifts that we normally would pay $30, $40, $50 and up a pop.
You're getting the same Blues Alley show from my living room.
Exactly. So please do tip, even if you can't stay for the show.
Right.
You can go on in, leave a tip. And
actually, Gina, they can go on right now if they're going to miss it. On my website, there's a tip jar, JacquesLesure.com. They can just go there if they want to. They're not going to be around for the show.
Okay, that sounds good. And when Ty comes on, I'll have her pin his handle because I can't do that. I'm not good at that.
I get it.
But I will definitely make sure that Ty does that for us. So now let's talk about you.
Okay.
What motivated you to take an AfricanAncestry.com test? How did you become a member of the family?
Well, Gina, in my spirit, and most of our spirits, we know that there's more to us than meets the eye. We know that intrinsically, spiritually. We know that there's something else going on with us. We don't know what it is. We have the handle of African American. We use that proudly. We say I'm Black, whatever the case might be. But we never really know. We really, until you all came along, we really didn't know what was really happening. And I went, the DNA thing, I went on one of the other competitors one time. And I won't even call them competitors because they're not even competitors. They're another agency.
We call them our colleagues. They're our
colleagues. Right, colleagues. And I got some information back, and the information was, I'll say, real general. It was real general, and then I'd get an email that, we got a little wrong. We got to change this around, blah, blah, blah. This is this now, and I'd go back. And I have a lot of friends that are from the continent who were personal friends of mine over the years. And I had this connection to them, and they would always tell me, you're this, you're that. They would look at you, you're that. And they would give me names and call me African names, and you know how they do it,
Yeah.
And so I decided when I found you all that I wanted to know for sure. I started out with the paternal test. And the paternal test, and it was funny because it was during a time when I was getting ready to be inducted into an African family before I even had the results back. And this particular person who was running this agency and running this event, he was hell-bent on, you're from Nigeria. And he called me Chukwuemeka. He gave me a name and all that. You're from Nigeria. You're from Nigeria. Then 2 weeks before the event, it came back 100% match with the Akan people of Ghana.
Oh.
And he said, oh, well, you're still Nigerian. You're still Nigerian, So anyway, I got inducted through a Ghanaian family.
Nice.
So they gave me the name Kwaku, meaning born on Wednesday. Kwaku Adufu means warrior, and I got that name from them, and I was blessed to have that. So if you see on this Instagram, it's Jacques Lesure, Kwaku Adufu. So I have, that's how that happened. And then, of course, after that, I wanted to know, well, how about Mama? So I went, and, I was really curious about Mama. So I went and did my mother's side, and that came back, and I said, okay, that's going to be the Nigerian. But it didn't. It came back the people of Gabon.
Ah.
So Gabon and Ghana, it came back. It was really interesting because I already speak French. So when it came back, I was like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense for me, So it was a beautiful match. And then my wife did it. She went to do it, and she got hers back. She found out that her father's side is Gabon.
Ah, okay.
Her paternal side is Gabon, and then she found out that her mother was European, had European, but we already kind of knew that. but we thought that it might have been just her mother's, but it went back to her father, we thought, her grandfather. But it came out, it was her mother's line that had the European in it.
So let's talk about that for a second, because as I've mentioned to people on our lives in the past, when people get a non-African result, when they get a European result, they lose their minds. When I tell you, it is like their money back. They think we should retest them. We should give them another different line for free. They call the Better Business Bureau. What do you say to people like that? Because you have the experience with your wife. What do you say to people who get a non-African result?
I would say that, first of all, know your history, because if you really study your history before you panic, look at the region, look at the haplolog group that comes up, and look and see what that might mean. Then the next step is if those ancestors, you have some elders who are still living, it's question and answer time to go back and ask them, what do they know? A lot of them might not even know, but find out. And you'll hear things like, well, I remember your uncle so-and-so looked like, and all of a sudden you'll get all of that kind of commentary going before you try to call you all in panic, because science is science. It's not like you all are sitting there trying to make them be European, okay? It is what it is. So in my wife's case, she was aware that of her grandfather being of European lineage, but she wasn't aware of her mother's mother, somewhere in that line. And her own mother is still alive, and she was quite shocked behind that too, and we don't have any, she doesn't have any, and she doesn't have anybody on the paternal side to test for that. But we did test her father, as I said, and that's where her African Gabon regions came in.
So let me ask you this. You were already well engaged in Africa, the idea of being African. You've mentioned you have many friends from different African countries. But what did it mean to you when you got that first Ghana result? What did it mean to you then, and how have you used the information since? Because you've been a family member for a while now.
Well, yeah, I got what I call the cool sensation. I became calm and peaceful, because now I knew, even though I was on these shores here in America, I knew that if push comes to shove, or whatever goes on, there's more to the story, and there's somewhere I could go and throw my arms up and say, look, I don't know nothing, but I'm one of y'all, and here's, to prove it. So I was going to go for the year of return. We missed it because I was so busy. We missed it, and now we don't know when we're going to be able to go. But I still did the research. Right now, I know the difference between the best jollof rice, which is Ghanaian jollof rice, in the world. I mean, I can argue. I'm in that argument now between Nigerian and jollof rice. Nigerian and Ghanaian.
Listen, don't you try to start some jollof wars on our
I'm all the way into jollof wars. I'm also learning tree. I'm learning tree quite well.
Okay.
And so it's just giving me a sense of identity, learning the different Adinkra symbols. As you can see, I wear a lot of different Adinkra symbols, and it's just part of who I am now. And it's not a phony, pretentious way of doing it. I'm not just throwing on dashikis and walking around, it's embedded into the whole of who I am. I'm not throwing away my American culture. I'm not throwing that away, because that's really who I am too. So I've learned a way to meld all of that into something that's honest, and an honest opinion. I'm not trying to go around and tell people that because I'm not from the actual, I was born in Detroit, Michigan, you know what I'm saying? So being there gives me a sense, and now I live in Inglewood, California, but the bottom line is I have this whole dynamic of who I am that's multiplicit, and it feels good. It's a great feeling.
Wow. Now, I met, didn't you bring some of your family to the meetup?
Just my wife in Leimert Park. That was the same. That was it. It's funny that that day is very historic for you, because I don't know if you know, that's the same day that Nipsey Hussle was, and I had left, and I had just left your event, and that's the way that I normally go home, and I would have been, and I needed some gas, and the gas station, which is right by the alley where all this occurred, for some reason when I left you all, I said, you know what, I'm going to go in another direction. And my wife said, well, why are you going all the way around? I said, I don't know, and I just went in another direction. And when I got home, and I missed it all. And when I got home, I found out what happened. I find that historically, relevant.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you shared the information with other family members, or
I sure.
and what kind of response have you gotten for them? Because I want to make sure people understand, people who are watching, that the results that you get from an African ancestry test aren't just for you.
Right.
They're for the entire lineage.
Well,
and so when Jacques did the test, he got a wealth of information that he's able to share with so many other family members.
Well, it's funny because I started calling people, and there's kind of a I'll call it a unaware ambivalence to it, or apathy, because they really don't understand. They don't know what to do. They don't really know unless it's burning in you. You can't. And the first thing is you want to get mad because this is great information, and you're mad because they're not properly impressed about it. You know what I'm saying? And you get mad. So I had to back up with that because they don't understand the relevance, because we're so steeped in what we know or what we don't know that we don't even know what we don't know and how important what we don't know is.
Yeah.
So I had to share it with them. It was so funny that we have a cousin who is getting married. When I got to this little event they were having, I found out she is actually from Ghana, her family. So they were getting ready to have this thing. And so we and her were able to talk, and she was able to give me some information because she's also Asante Akan. She was from the same thing. So that was a thing. He didn't even really know. He just knew he was marrying an African woman, you know,
right.
But he didn't have all of the things involved with it. So people, I would tell people, don't get upset when your family doesn't, dance and skip with you about it, because they just don't know to. They just don't understand it. And as soon as they see, they see it, you say, well, go get tested. And they see a price, they go crazy. They'll pay that much for toilet paper today. But when they see it, they don't understand the relevance of why they should spend a few $100s to find out who they are.
Nice.
And that's all it is. I mean, I know for a fact that we spend more money on other things that are less relevant and absolutely nonsensical than we do on getting some grounded information.
And that's all about value. It's all about where you place importance and what level of importance you place on different things. And so when people don't get it, it's because they don't see the value. And that's okay. Everything is not for everybody. But for those of us who do see the value, it's a very powerful experience that I appreciate you and your wife have participated in. I want to shout out all the African Ancestry family members who are watching. I noticed Mary is on. I know that Joseph is on. Some of the others of you, I don't recognize your handles, but yes, and thank you, Leah Ore. We offer payment plans through Affirm. So right. You can purchase an African Ancestry test through Affirm and pay as low as $27 a month. So that's one way that you can get this information and manage the expense. The other way to manage the expense is if you do have interested family members, you can make your own Affirm and everybody pitch in $25 or $30 or whatever it is.
That's right.
One person takes the test, but everyone in the family shares the results. And so that's another way to do it. And Jacques, there's another person on here. I didn't catch their name, but I wanted to make sure I responded. So he has haplogroup information. You mentioned haplogroups briefly from another company, and he wants to know where in Africa that is found. And so I'll encourage him to DM us, because he put up in a haplogroup A, and I don't want to get into the details of haplogroups because it's kind of confusing and quite honestly not very useful information.
Right.
But there are certain haplogroups we know to be African, and so we may be able to help you if you have that information. But I want to thank you for coming on with us today.
Thank you.
I know that you are busy getting ready for this amazing concert that I'm going to make sure I watch or listen to.
Thank you.
Tip.
Thank you.
As well. Yesterday we partnered to support, or this was Sunday, we partnered to support Anthony Hamilton's virtual concert that he did with the Grammys. And the goal of that concert was to raise money for all the behind the scenes people at the venues, just like you're saying.
Okay.
So we encouraged people to come with us to that concert. So I'm encouraging you all to come with us to Jacques Lesure's concert tonight.
Thank you.
You're a guitar player, right?
Right. I'm a jazz guitarist, yes.
Jazz guitarist. Is there anything else that you want to share with the people about your African ancestry experience before I let you go?
Yes, I want to say that the experience also, before I go, we're going through this coronavirus thing, and as a people, I want us to be aware and to be concerned, but I want us to be hopeful, because if we look at our history, if we think about and people think about just the door of no return, but they don't think about the folks that marched across Africa to get to the door of no return. That journey in itself, from another African place to there, that was devastating. Then when they got there, then the middle passage in boats in the middle of the ocean somewhere, chained in, Jim Crow, and slavery, all these things, and we've survived those things. We're still here, living witnesses to that we are survivors. So I'm not saying call it a hoax and all of that, but I'm saying, do the best you can, but don't give up. Be strong. We're a strong people. We're a strong people, and I think that if we just manage and do what the authorities and those that know are giving us good guidelines, and you stay within those and have hope, that inner strength that we have is going to help us get through that. That's all I have to say.
Hey, and that enough said. I want to thank everybody who's coming in. People are still coming in. I appreciate. Look at all these hearts for Jacques' message. It's so true. Resilience and survival are in our DNA. As he said, it's really just that simple. And music has gotten us through every single one of those times. The drum. Our voices have gotten us through every single one of those times. But what we do have to do, as you've said, is we have to be smart. Right. So please, people, please
stay in the house.
Stay in the house. When you have to go out, because even I have to go out, but when you have to go out, be smart. Wear gloves. Use hand sanitizers. Keep your 6 feet or more distance from the people in front and behind you. Make sure that you're washing your hands. And just please be smart. The more that we do to follow the rules now and use our common sense now, the quicker we'll get through this.
And those of us that have the results, now is the great time. You have a captive, active audience to share information with your children. Your children are already in a distance learning mindset. So why not add a few things? Tell them this is your people. Then give me a test. Where are you from? What do they eat? What are their things? Now you got time to do it. Instead of sitting around being bored, you got something to do now.
All right. Look, everybody, I'm Gina Page, president and co-founder of African Ancestry. This is Jacques Lesure, the jazz guitarist. And we are representing conversations with African Ancestry family members today. 15, 20 minutes in your day to give you a different perspective on the importance of knowing your roots. Not just that you are African, because we already know that, but where in Africa you come from, who are the people and the place. And so I want to thank you, Jacques, for being with us.
Thank you, Gina.
I want to thank all of you for joining us. There's a link up in the bio. If you're curious about your ancestry, take that quiz and come on over to AfricanAncestry.com. We will be back here tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern. That's 2 o'clock Pacific and 4 o'clock Central. I don't know what time it is in Brazil. Shout out to Brazil. They're on the live. But we'll be back tomorrow with another African Ancestry family member to share more enlightenment with all of you. Have a good evening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.